So here's going to be our quote-unquote D drive. So my philosophy has been not to install as little as possible on the system drive to make it last longer, so it's not always loading and unloading software. In the past, I've used two 3.5-inch hard disks, non-solid state, because the solid state stuff was really super expensive back then. This isn't cheap either, but so I set up an RAID 1 configuration, and that gives me extra protection against the problems. I have replaced 2 sets of those on my previous computer, so and always I've recovered all my files, so that's been really helpful. So I'm hoping by going with solid state for my quote-unquote D drive, where I install most of my software and data files and stuff, it should be more reliable and I won't have any problem. I'm still going to install it as a RAID 1 configuration, which is probably overkill, but I've had good luck with that. I'm going to stick with it. All right, so my current D drive is 4 terabytes, and again, I have 2 of them in parallel to do a RAID 1. So again, the concept of doubling things for future proofing, and I've probably used about 3 terabytes so far. You know, I have some files slowly accumulate, like some old videos I've produced. I keep around just to make sure I still have them, things like that. And of course, installing additional software as I go along. I said to double that to 8 terabytes. So there's only a couple companies make 8 terabyte solid state drives. Samsung, and I forget the other one, but I had good luck with Samsung on a lot of other electronics products, so I started to stick with that. So I bought these 2. So let's go ahead and open up this box and see what's inside. All right, so we're going to see how this opens. It doesn't really have a easy way to open it. Oh, maybe on the side here. Yeah, okay, it does have an easy way to open it. It's on the side, huh? Hidden way. Okay. Comes out the side, not the top. And here's our instructions. So it comes with instructions. Installation guide. That's also sealed. Let's open that up. So these are SATA drives. We'll talk about M2 later when I get those in the mix here. So it's got the legal disclaimer, every language you can imagine. And it's got a visual installation, so there's not too much to that. It also shows how to install it external. Inside a, this is just external, just lying there. That's interesting. I don't think I'd do that. Okay, so let's take it out here. And it's got the usual SATA connectors on this side, the data and the power. So it's pretty straightforward. The motherboard we're getting has a place to install 2 of these on the back of the motherboard. That's what we'll be installing it. Let's keep it in this packaging for now. And the other one's the same, so I'm not going to open that one. All right, here's our next item. It's going to be going to our new system. This is a AMD thermal paste guard and cleaning set from Noctua. So I saw someone else use this on a video where they were showing how to put thermal paste on an AMD processor, and if you look at this processor, it's got exposed lead, solder locations around the perimeter, which seems kind of not so great. Anyway, so you'll see where this will help prevent any thermal paste from getting down on top of that, which maybe doesn't make any difference. I guess thermal paste isn't conductive, but it seems like a bad idea to me. So let's open this up. Well, let's take a look at the box first. So it's called NASTP-G1, and not too much exciting on the outside. So let's take it out. It's got a bunch of cleaning. Now, this is also used if you're, replacing your thermal paste, which I'm going to do eventually, of course, after 3 years or so. I'll probably replace it. But the main thing we're looking for here is, where is it? is missing here? Oh, here it is, right on the top. It's this plastic shield. So this plastic, it's a little hard to see. I'll leave it up against this. This plastic shield, I won't show on that. This plastic shield fits perfectly around with all the indentations around this AMD processor. It helps shield those exposed solder squares there, or you know, the part of the connection to the processor to the printed circuit board. It shields them, so you don't get any thermal paste on there. So it seems like a good thing to me. I think it's also could be used. You put that on there when you're cleaning it, so you don't get a bunch of this cleaning stuff on the same area. So what I could see was you just put it on, just leave it on. It's not going to interfere with the. It's not going to interfere with the cooler. But although now that I think about it some more, I think I will take it out. I don't see any reason to leave it on there. It's going to be. Although that way I'll make sure I won't lose it. But of course I'll put it back in here. But all right, so I think I'm going to definitely take it off rather than leave it on there. Because, I mean, it gets really hot, so it doesn't seem like it's... I think in the video he did leave it on there. But anyway, so we're not going to leave it on there. All right, so that's that. One more thing. To get the manual, you got to scan this QR code, which is, I guess, typical these days. I guess it makes sense. I mean, you only got to look at it once or twice. And then when you use it again, I guess you have to look it up. But probably better. I mean, it's just likely to lose a manual that's lying around somewhere. Although I put all my manuals for my new PCs in a manila envelope, so I don't lose anything. I'll probably put that in there too, so I don't know where to find it. All right, so later in this build, I'll show you what I might have on my existing computer. I have a DVD writer, Blu-ray writer, and I want to keep that because I keep an extra copy of home videos on DVD, so we can easily watch it on our TV. Of course, now I can set up a media server, but anyway, I don't have enough disk space to put all those DVDs on my computer because there's about maybe 20 of them or so, going back 30 years. So I've been producing DVDs for the home movies, and I want to keep doing that. And also, some software comes on a CD these days still. I have a lot of old software that I want to install that comes on a CD. So the new case didn't have room for a 5¼ inch drive, so I said instead of, there were available, but not the one I wanted. So there are cases out there that will support 5¼ inch, but they didn't have the other features I wanted. So I decided, oh well, I don't use it that often, so I'll just get an external enclosure and just plug it in when I need it. That makes a lot more sense. So I settled on this Nexstar DX2 USB 3 external enclosure for SATA, Blu-ray, CD, DVD, etc. So let's open this up and see what's inside. All right, so I'll flip this over. I can show you this stuff too. So it supports 5¼ inch SATA drives. It's got super speed USB 3, so we'll have to make sure we get a cable. We'll see if it comes with this USB 3 cable. Our new motherboard has even USB 4 connections on it, so should be able to get as high speed as possible with an external drive. Okay, it comes with a manual that says thank you. That's nice. And it just talks about visually how to take it apart. And it does come with a USB cable. That's nice. An AC adapter, of course. And some mounting screws so you can mount your drive in the enclosure. So that seems like it has everything we need. So it shows a quick show here, and then you just plug it into your USB on your, this is on a laptop, but I'll plug it into our computer. So I'll just be putting this aside until I need it, and I'll just use one of the connections on top of the case probably to plug this in. That'll be the easiest. Those are usually open. I set those as being intermittent, not having something always plugged into it. So it's nicely packaged, foam padding and a plastic cover. And it seems to be made of aluminum, and it's got plastic end caps on it. So here's the back plate. So it's got an on-off switch, and it's got the USB 3 connector. Here's the USB 3 cable. Now, I don't know, I can't tell between USB 2 and 3 because they have some of the same blue color, so I don't know. I have to try it, and whatever the fastest connection is on top of the case, and we'll just use that, and that's how it'll work. And then we'll have to plug it in when we use it. I may leave it on top of the case. I think the top of the case has vents on. Yeah, I can't do that. I'll just leave it somewhere close by and then plug it in, and hopefully leave this power plugged in, or else I'll just plug it in when I use it. Yeah, that shouldn't be that hard. All right, so that's pretty much it for that. Let's find our other stuff in here. So here's our mounting screws and some rubber feet, since we're going to need that. So it's got 4 indentations on the corners here for installing the rubber feet, so that'll keep the noise down. A little bit of damping isolation, and you glue them on, and then it's got a little screwdriver for screwing in the mounting. So it looks like, let's see, one of these is screwed in here. Let's take a look at this. Looks like you can unscrew the mounting bracket. Let's see. Now this is the back plate. This is the back plate, and here's your SATA connection. That's cool. And I guess it just slides in there. Just slides in and doesn't require any mounting brackets. It just fits in there. Anyway, when we get around to installing the, you know what? I think left these 2 screws out here. So I think these are going to screw into the drive. And when we get the drive out, and I'll show you how to install in this case. All right, so here's our power supply we're going to put in our old computer, so we can keep it going. I'd keep my old computer going for about a year, just in case I mess something up and I forgot something. So I'm kind of paranoid about that. I'm running my business and other, household on that computer, so I don't want it to be out of commission very long. It messes me up. So I did buy a 1,000-watt power supply a few years ago. I'll send a link to the show notes on that upgrade where I called it a midlife crisis upgrade, where I replaced the power supply, I replaced the graphics card and the CPU cooler, and I upgraded to an EVGA NVIDIA 3080 Ti. So I'll put a link to that. You'll see it in this build because I'll be moving it from the old computer to the new computer. I'm staying away from the newer graphics cards for now because of all the horror stories about the 12-volt connector. So I'm going to wait till the second generation 12-volt connector comes out before I upgrade my graphics card. I'm just not interested in messing around with that. So the 3080 Ti is a great graphics card for me, and we're just going to keep using that for now. All right, but anyway, we need to move the 1,000-watt supply to the new computer so it'll support everything we have in there. So we want to keep the old one going. So I bought this low-cost 500-watt thing, which is just using the onboard graphics, so it doesn't need to supply a graphics card or anything else too exciting. So it should be plenty of power. So we're going to open this up. It's got to come wrapped in plastic. And we'll just see what it is. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this because it's just kind of a backup. And when I recycle the computer, I'll give it away. I'll just be including this with it. So, all right. So let's take a look at the front here. So it's got a 5-year warranty. That's good. It's Haswell ready. I forget what that is. It's got a super quiet 120mm fan. Okay, that's good. And it's a Thermalake Smart Series. And this side, nothing exciting on that side. The back, it's got the specs on it. It's got the DC outputs, efficiency rating. It's got the different connectors that are included. And this is the same as the other side. Okay, so let's open it up here. All right, so it's got a warranty card. So always helpful if something goes wrong. It's got the information about how to install things. Open your computer case, install the PSU. So I have kind of a wacky installation of the PSU in my old case because I didn't want to use the offset back plate for it. It was set back from the back of the case for some reason, and that meant I couldn't put an extra fan at the bottom, so I don't know what that. So I rigged a thing where I could put the back of the power supply directly to the back of the case, so hopefully we'll do that again. So the instructions are in different languages, but it's basically just talks about the different kind of connectors to your CPU. All right, so it's got power supply cable. Now this is not a fully modular power supply, and that means that there's a single pigtail coming out of the back, a single set of wires coming out of the back of the power supply, which is presumably more reliable instead of having a separate set of plugs. But presumably everything inside is soldered to the power supply circuit board. But anyway, most modern power supplies are fully modular. It's just easier to work with, I guess. That's probably the reason. So again, this is just a for keeping our old computer going, so we don't really care that it's not that great. And it's got a on-off switch. It's in the on position. That's interesting. Not sure. I guess that was when it was tested. Okay. Anyway, so it's pretty standard power supply. It's going to be installed this way, so the fan's on the bottom of the case. And if necessary, we can just lay it in there. I don't see a lot of mounting. I don't see any mounting screws. Well, it can be mounted on the back, obviously. So, all right. Yeah, I think my other power supply had some mounting screws on the bottom, but this is a lot smaller than my current power supply because it's only half the wattage. Anyway, so that'll be part of the build. I'll show you how I put this in my old case, and we'll keep that computer going. That'll be the first thing we do. After we take the stuff out of the old case, we're going to put this in and make sure the old computer works before we do anything on the new computer. That way we can keep running our business while we're building a new computer.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.